Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to discuss another important topic of SRE, which is gap analysis. So let's start. First, let's understand what is gap analysis. So gap analysis in SRE is the process of identifying the difference, that is the gap between where we are now, that's the current system reliability or performance or process, and where you want to be, that's your reliability goals or service levels or best practices. Now it helps us understand what's missing and what needs the improvement, or how to get from the current state to the desired state. Now let us understand why is gap analysis important in SRE. So in site reliability engineering, the main goal is to ensure the systems are reliable, scalable, efficient and maintainable. So gap analysis helps the team to focus their efforts by showing them which areas are underperforming, where the risk exists, what actions are needed to close those gaps. Now, when do we use gap analysis? The first point is when starting a new reliability initiative, or after an incident, which is a post-mortem, or during an SLO, which is service level objective reviews, or before adopting new tools or processes, or when preparing for audits or scaling the systems. Let's understand how is gap analysis done in simple steps. First step would be defining the goal, the target state. For example, we want our system to have 99.9% uptime. This usually comes from the SLOs or SLAs or industry best practices. The second would be assessing the current state. For example, our uptime in the last quarter was 97.5%. So use metrics, dashboards, monitoring tools and logs to collect this data. Third point would be identifying the gaps. What's missing, what's not working. Maybe your alerting is too slow, or you have too many manual steps in your deployment process. So identify all these gaps. Fourth would be analyzing the causes. Why do these gaps exist? Is it due to the lack of automation, or poor incident response, or outdated infrastructure? The next point would be planning the improvements. List down clearly the actionable steps to close the gap. For example, add more automation to reduce human error, or tune alert thresholds. The last point would be implement and monitor. Make the changes, continuously monitor to see if the gap is closing or not. Now let us understand this concept with a simple analogy for students. Think of SRE gap analysis like preparing for an exam. Your goal is to score 90% in the test. That becomes your reliability goal. Your current state is you are scoring 65% in the mock tests. So you want to score 90% in the final test, but now in the mock test you are scoring 65%. So your gap becomes 25% difference. Analyze why. Maybe you are weak in one chapter, maybe you are weak in one subject. That could be a weak service or process. Think of it like a weak service or process. Now how do you fix it? Focus more study time in that chapter or in that subject, get help from your seniors, practice more. So this is like implementing the improvements. Now let's discuss a simple example in real SRE terms. So scenario is your SLO says 99.995% uptime, but you had multiple outages last month. So let's discuss the steps and the actions. So in the step, the first would be goal. The action would be to maintain 99.95% of uptime, that is your SLO. So current state is 99.2% of uptime. Now gap becomes 0.75% below the target. You had to maintain 99.95, but you are maintaining 99.2. So a gap of 0.75% below the target. Now cause could be delayed alerting, manual recovery, untested config changes. For example, let's discuss the fixes. Improve the alerting system, add auto healing, test configs in the staging. For example, now come to monitoring. For the step monitor, the action could be track uptime weekly to check the progress. So this was a real SRE example in SRE terms for you to understand better. So in a nutshell, gap analysis is equal to understand the difference between where you are and where you want to be. In SRE, it helps improve system reliability by identifying and fixing the weak spots. It's a continuous improvement process, like measure, find gaps, fix and repeat. I hope this video was helpful. Do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.